this is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Fishies in a row. They're here to make a point and to do Eddie proud. They fan out in the background as they come down to turn 1 for the first time. It all looks pretty good, 2 by 2. We'll stop the camera here. Oh, Eddie would be proud, mate. That was awesome run around turn 1. But, oi! Contact with the fishies!
He's made it through. It doesn't look like Angus has made it, but Thomas Freeman's made it through, and Angus is going to suffer the crowd coming through there to be able to turn his car around.
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannon.
Call 134646 for a quote.
And they are off. It was a good start from Dylan de Bono. I think Phil Vella got a great start there in the background as well. You can see already cars going 5, 6 wide as they're trying to find any semblance of space. They come into T1. So far we've got 2, 3 wide as they snake down. It's Michael Cunningham that's got around Dylan de Bono. A couple of cars going wide there. Was that a bit of contact in the back? Scott Pocock caught up in that, I think, there, buddy. But it's Michael Cullaghar's got past, so Dylan.
Light is coming out and we're about to get going, and we have a green light and a very slow start for the 86s, but they are moving out there on the grid. It would be very interesting to see exactly which driver can capitalise on this first lap. Just go through the grid. Look like Jamie Christensen had a really awesome start to get ahead of Dylan de Bono, and Doug Gowage also jumped his teammate as well, so unfortunately Dylan stalled the car a little bit more than what he preferred. But
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Still great classes of car, and if you are able to, if you're coming up the ranks on iRacing through the licenses, it's a fantastic sort of laneway into prototype driving, going from that GT3 up through the prototype classes. As the safety car pulls in, we get ready to go green as we come up towards the line. Edwards, Hasler, who's going to get the jump down to turn 1, or will any of the fishies, any of the piranhas in behind them, assault them down towards the first lap? Let's go here.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's.
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's. Insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because
tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he just sends it up the inside, but he has implemented, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolute thinker, but it's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans. Welcome back to SRW TV. Tonight we jump back into the world of open wheelers for round 12 of our Shadow F1 series, where we follow the real F1 calendar where iRacing has the tracks, or our own interpretation where it doesn't. Well, tonight it's one of the real ones. We are at the British GP at Silverstone. It's a fast-flowing track that tests the limits of our drivers' commitments and intestinal fortitude as they find every Skerrigan pace. It's Cowie, your average sim racer here. I'm back with Hamish Munro after a week off. Feeling a lot better, buddy. But yeah, look, it is awesome to be back for the last round of our triple header.
Yeah, mate, great to have you back here, Cowie. Of course, you missed an absolute blinder last week out at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, we had 2 races for that sprint race evening, and it was one hell of an event. Great to have Sinker in the booth for that one. Wish you could have been there though, Cowie. Great to have you back here once again. Silverstone, quite diversive track, of course. It's one where we've kind of come to know that it's 50-50 on how the races are going to be. It's either going to be a race that's quite settled and will get into its rhythm quite early, or it's going to be quite disjointed and we're going to get into some big incidents early on, and that's then going to lead on throughout the rest of this race. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to line up tonight and actually what kind of race we're going to have around here. As I mentioned, it's one of 50-50, Cowie, of whether we're going to get either a lot of safety cars or we're going to get none. And it means if we get none, it's not likely to be very chaotic at all. But if we get a lot, then chaos is going to ensue quite quickly.
Well, looking at that weather display out there, doesn't look like there is much rain on the horizon, so it is partly cloudy. But look, yeah, this would be the first time we've been here in the super lights as well. So, you know, that'll offer something different for the drivers. I know that they have been sort of slowly getting used to this car over the past couple of seasons. But, you know, every time you come to a track that you've driven another car before, it can take a while to, you know, to find where the limit is. But I noticed there's a few fast names that are back for these shadow rounds, buddy. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting, I think. Yeah, we've got quite a few new faces in the field, but also some old favourites back again as well, leading into Season 3 of 2024. Of course, the big news is we're going to be having our big National Championship showcase at the end of the season between SRW and GSRC, where our top 20 drivers will take on their top 20 drivers in an absolute epic affair in September. We cannot wait for that race to come about. Of course, if you want to be involved in it, well, registrations are now open to the public for the SRW side of things. Registrations have just gone public for every single league that we're offering this season, Cowie, including this one here, the Formula 3 Nationals, the Tuesday night Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Series, the Thursday night GR86 Nationals brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, the Friday night Legends World Challenge, as well as also the Friday night Warren & Brown Tools IMSA GTD series. Namely, the Legends series is also a free series where everything else is paid for via your subscription. So if you want to get a taste for SRW, then be sure to get your registrations in on the website, www.simracingworld.com.au. That's www.simracingworld.com.au, as well as our Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship on Sunday nights. Everything's going ahead as planned, Cowie. This season's going to be absolutely epic, but we get to see how these new and these old boys and girls now get to go out here at Silverstone here tonight for the F1 Shadow Series. How excited are you for not only the opportunity for these super formulas to get a chance at Silverstone? We haven't been here since we were in the old F3. And how these drivers are going to be able to tame this circuit, Cowie, because it is one that is quite tough. It's deceptively tough out there. Well, one thing we know about these super lights is that the toe can be quite effective. Silverstone's got a couple of big long straights, so don't be surprised to see teammates working together in this qualifying session to try and find there's a couple of tenths in a token, 2 or 3 tenths if you get it right around here. So, these guys, I'm sure they're going to be working together where they can. And as you said, there's a few old favourite names that we haven't seen in a while, and plus all our regulars back. So I think we've got 26 cars out there tonight.
Yeah, something like that. Some of the old favourites that we have got back again. One of them on screen right now, Jay Dixon, is back in the F3 field for SRW. Another one that is back is his teammate in Phil Vella. So 2 of our most successful drivers in this type of car is back in the field, back to bring a challenge to us, and back to challenge the front-running teams. Remember the end of last season, we said it's now going to be a bit of a 3-horse race going forward of Carlin's, Velocity Sim Labs and Pace Syndicate. Well, guess what? DFR's back, and all of a sudden it becomes a 4-way battle for a championship going into next season. What more could we ask for?
Yeah, look, it's great to see those battles. We saw controversy at the end of the last season, season 2, and just goes to show, you do all of those interpolations and talk about it, and then something happens and just throws it all out the window. That's what you got to love about motor racing. Big shout out for the boys there, Brad Hayes, Andrew Rushworth, Sean Benici in the chat. Good to see you, boys. What's that, Brad, saying how we're feeling, mate? I'm a lot better than I was last week. The dreaded COVID got me. Andrew Rushworth, it is, I think it's a sprint round. It's a sprint round 2040. Yep. 2040 night, so we've got that right. And Sean's saying he races for both. Can he get a tie between both series? Well, it may well entitle you for the race there, Sean, but you're going to have to pick a side eventually, buddy, so we'll wait to see what you got in mind.
Well, one thing as well that I want to mention, Cowie, is we're running sprint round format tonight, but Silverstone this weekend is a regular round. So tonight should have been a normal round, I do believe, but they're running the sprint round format. We do like the sprint round format in these cars. I actually think it will provide better racing at Silverstone tonight than it would if it was a normal round.
I was going to say that, buddy. We know that, as you said before in your intro there, this is a place that can be full of excitement and danger and incidents, or it can be a place where the field sort of spreads out a lot, and and it becomes just a bit of an enduro round. So I think it's not it's a smart ploy to play a sprint round tonight, and bunch them back up for race number 2, and see where the chips fall.
Well, it feels like we're back in mid-2023, Cowie. We're on board with Phil Vella, who's looking to be the fastest man on track at the moment. He's in behind David Gallo and Daniel Byrne. And we also have Scotty Barton back in the field. The only one we're missing right now is Michael Cuttajar. We just need Michael Cuttajar back, and all of a sudden we're back in the heyday of mid-2023. Mid-bliss for us to have some quality. Our old favourites back in the field as Vella goes top of the timesheets with a 150.841. Gallo's gone P2, Byrne P3, and Gowans into P4 as well. I cannot wait to see how this championship's going to turn out, Kelly, because we're finally going to have a championship battle where pretty much anyone inside the top 10 in the championship could win it this season.
Again, it comes down to qualifying a lot if you get to the front of the pack and you stay clear of some of those messes. But we do know that, like this car, it's one of those things with that toe, that draft is so strong, and we've seen drivers put themselves in a position where they're P2 with 1 lap to go. Now, when that is sort of the mentality you need to take when you're racing these cars, that just means it's going to be more exciting for us viewers. And, I love that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like driving a big heavy brick as well, the V8 supercar, but the nuances that come in when you've got to start to think about your draft and your toe, and maybe a bit of fuel saving as well, because we've seen that come into play. But that's what just makes racing so exciting.
Well, a couple of drivers I have noticed in the field, a new driver up there, Stephanie Piccoli, having a go at the open wheelers this season. She has signed up for F3, so we'll see how she goes on track. John Cashin as well, new into the field. Love to see how he goes for Veterans Gaming Australia, as well as Jason Depp as well. We'll see how these newer drivers go against some of our old favourites and some of our regulars of 2024. One thing I will say, Kerry, I think last season proved that the move over to the SF24 has been a positive one in terms of the kind of action we've been getting on track, but also the spectacle we've been getting on track as well. I actually think last season was probably my most enjoyable season to call for this series, just based on you could never really guarantee who was going to win it, and everything came down right to the last moment. And it's really reinvigorated the series somewhat, I feel. I think it's become such a great positive for this series. I look forward to seeing what Season 3 brings now that we are in this new car and all the drivers have got a season under their belt pretty much.
Look, it's one of those things where the old F3 car was a bit of a beast, similar to the SR8 Radical. I used to love driving that thing. But they're cars where, again, not all of those extra aids and we're not just talking about traction control, but, just, the downforce of the car and, those cars could be very loose at times. The tyres took forever to get up to temperature before you can push. The super light, it's a little bit easier to drive to get up to those limits. That doesn't mean it's any easier to drive at the top end, because what we've seen is that you really need to be pushing this car as hard as you can to compete anywhere near the front of this pro field. And what that does is it means that you're on a knife edge, and we've seen the field sort of probably compact together due to that nature of the car being a little bit easier to drive, but that still doesn't, take away the cream from the top. And I think that's what's keeping it interesting for these guys, as well as the weather, of course. It's always fun to throw up a hailstorm into a race. But again, when the field is compressed together, that's where we're getting the close racing. That's why we're getting so many winners and so much drama.
Well, I think at the top end, I think you mentioned it, this car is more difficult to drive at the height of its powers, when you can get the most out of the car. But I do agree, I think at the lower level this thing is actually a bit easier to drive for the F3, which does bring in a lot more drivers into the competitive nature and actually get them involved in these championship battles, which I love, because it means that the field, again, not so spread out, the pace is not so spread out, but the skill gap is not so big either, because drivers at the lower level are able to learn a lot faster, get up to pace faster. But to maintain that pace is what has been so difficult for a couple of drivers at the top end of town.
Well, it's one of those things that a lot of us sort of drive for, in your sim racing journey. One of the reasons that I love driving the V8 supercar is because it gives me a better feel of when I'm on the edge of the limit. Now, the GT3 cars and sort of some of the open wheelers, I was getting the feeling where I didn't know where the edge of it was. I'm either there or I'm off it. Now, the F3, the Radical SR8, the V8 supercar, the Porsche 911 Cup, those cars, because they don't have as many of those aids, they tend to feel looser. You feel when you're near the edge, whereas these machines here, they are designed to just lean on them. The harder you lean on it in the corner, the more pace you carry, the more grip it's got, and that seems counterintuitive, to a brick driver like myself.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of qualifying is going to go. We're getting up towards the final 5 minutes here of this qualifying session. At the moment, Daniel Byrne sits pole position with a 150.27 in P2, 6/10. Well, now 4/10 back is his teammate David Gallo, who's got a 150.66. Then it's Dougie Gowans with a 150.77. Then it's Phil Vella, who has just pipped Dougie Gowans actually for P3. So time's coming in quick and fast. We can get through these quicker. It goes Byrne to Gallo, to Vella to Gowans, to Dixon to De Bono, to Barton, to Konitska, to Fahey. Then we have our first Pro-Am in Matt Gerard, who has pipped Scott Pocock into the top 10.
I mean, again, there's some fast names that, are finding themselves in the pro pack at the moment. Jay Dixon, Dylan De Bono, Scott Barton, even Marcus Konitska, who had a great season, season 2 for our regular series. And those guys are sort of, 5 or 6 back. You got to love when a few fast names come back and are immediately on the money and at the front.
Well, I think last season was super competitive, Cave. By the looks of things, Season 3 is going to be even more competitive going forward. And I said any one of the top 10 could win this championship. I wholeheartedly think they can. I think anyone out of Daniel Byrne, David Gallo, Phil Vella, Dylan De Bono, I think Gowan's is a little bit too far away because their focus is on Bono winning. But you look at Jay Dixon, Scotty Barton, Konitska, Roberts when he's in the field, any of them could win this thing. And if it's on their day and they're able to get some good performances out of themselves throughout the whole season, it's going to come down to the wire between them. And we may see a battle between 3 to 4 to 5 drivers in that final round for championship honours at the end of the season.
One race can change it. We saw Dylan have that break for the State of Origin where he took a week off and he come back and was chasing Gallo after one round. I know I had a couple of poor enduro races and that really put me under pressure, and I had to rely on an issue with the driver in front, to get my championship. So that's the way it goes. So many things can change, and I still remember that last round of last season where we extrapolated just about everything we could, Hamish, and it still didn't go. Sorry, it went away that neither of us expected. That's racing. It is. That is exactly right. We both predicted two completely different drivers for the Pro Championship. We were kind of on the level for the AMs and the Pro-Ams, and it went the complete opposite direction of what we thought was going to happen. And that's the kind of anticipation, but also pure chaos that we love to see. You can never really know. You might say you do, but you can never really know until it comes down to that final checkered flag waving at the end of the season. When the leader going into the final round of all three championships gets picked, you know something crazy happened in that last race. Oh yeah, for sure. And again, you can never write such a storyline to happen in racing. You can never. You could write it, but I don't know if you can ever put it into practice straight up. That's right. No, believe that. All right. Well, we are within coming down the last couple of minutes of qualifying, and it is a Carlin's Motorsport 1-2 at the front at the moment. Phil Vella on his return straight into P3 to Bono. Gowans, Velocity Sim Labs separating Vella's teammate Dixon. So look at that, it's those top three teams and they're barging to Konitska. So we're talking about, team fights, and it's already playing out like that in the qualifying. Well, it's almost looking like, Scotty Barton is the sole driver for Valve Esports. But it's looking like a five-way dance for a team representative for a championship here. It's going to be highly contested this season as Vella looks to have one final run in behind his teammate Jay Dixon. He's going to let him go here through the first sector. We'll sit on board with him because he could be the only challenger at the moment to that pole position of Daniel Byrne, other than his own teammate of David Gallo. But Byrne will be thinking about right now the solid amount of points that he can get in this race for this F1 Championship to go back-to-back in 2023 and 2024. That's his aim at the moment. Not only that though, to get a good strong run leading into season 3 when round 1 happens in 2 weeks at the Hungaroring. So he'll be hoping to take the momentum and to take the ego with him into these final few moments for qualifying, but also into tonight's race as Vella comes into the second sector. He's not looking too bad at the moment, and Jay Dixon, I don't believe, has not fallen too far back, so he's still within the depths of his own teammate. We'll see how the laps are going to go for them, Kane. If they're going to be able to challenge Carlin's boys at the front of the field. Oh, they've only got about 30 seconds left of this lap. I don't know if they're going to make it. Remember, this is a sprint round, so the moment the clock hits 15, you've got, maybe about 2 seconds before it cuts off. So you might see the Carlin boys there get around. They might make it, but I think Vella might be struggling here. 20 seconds to go. I agree. He might be just a little bit too far away as he comes down the hanger straight up towards the top end of the track. He's got about 10 seconds. I don't think he's going to make it to the line. Daniel Byrne, David Gallo, there might even be a stretch for them at the moment, Carrie, as they come around the final corner. Qualifying is going to cut straight to the end. They were not able to make it, and qualifying is done and dusted. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 20-minute heat race to start. Then we reverse the top 10 finishes of that one, put them into a 40-minute feature, and see how they run F2 style here in the F1 Shadow Series out at Silverstone here tonight. But we will run through our starting grid for the first race of 2 here tonight for round number 12. It'll be Daniel Byrne and David Gallo making a Carlin's Motorsport front row lockout here tonight with Phil Vella and Dylan De Bono starting
In behind them, Doug Gowans, Jay Dixon then make up the third row with Scotty Barton and Marcus Knitska making up the fourth. Scott Pocock and Darren Fahey will make up an all-pro top 10 qualifying here tonight, with Matty Gerard and Jack Anderson just missing out on the proceedings in the opposite ends of Velocity SimLab, and then the other Velocity team of Velocity Racing Team on the 6th row of the grid. In behind them, they have Tyler Sheaf and Shane Ratcliffe doing the same thing as the row in front, with Dean Singovich and Jordan Ferguson in the top 16 positions. Jason Depp on debut will start ahead of Kevin Wakefield in P17 and P18 respectively, with Nathan Verney and Gordon McCulloch making up the top 20 here tonight. Callum Rossonita and Russell Garner will start P21 and P22 with John Cashin and Phil Buckland in behind, with Stephanie Piccoli and Greg Johnston and Josh King and Callan Hodgkinson making up the grid, with Adam Hughes and Greg Leake, our race controllers, here tonight.
Gonna be good race control on the radio, just instructing the fellas as we get ready here. It's going to be an interesting night of racing. I'm really keen to see how big the draft is going to be with those pros. I'm expecting a DRS train battle here for a while, where almost like the peloton in the Tour de France, where we might see them swapping around and shifting at the front. But it'll all come down to those last couple of laps to see who's ready to make the moves.
Well, the other thing we're missing tonight, Cowie, is a Martin Brundle on the grid walk talking to random celebrities about how much they know about F1, revealing that they know very little majority of the time. But all we have...
Well, you saw was it Dave Grohl? They were asked a question about Dave Grohl, who was going to win Wimbledon, and he had no idea. So. You talk to musos at sporting events, it's, sometimes they don't know what week it is.
Well, I recall the Monaco grid walk, and I think only about 2 of the celebrities that Brundle talked to actually knew what could happen in that race. The majority of them were just there to be in Monaco for the weekend. So, we'll see how the field goes here tonight, though, for Silverstone. It's a tough track, as we mentioned. It's going to be a 50-50 on whether it's going to be full chaos or whether it's going to be, straightforward and to the point for the majority of the race. One thing we have got happening tonight is 2 drivers are on the bubble for a milestone race here tonight, Cowie. That being Phil Vella in his 50th start in this first race, and De Bono will get to his 50th start as long as he starts race number 2 here tonight.
Cool. That is good. Phil's had that 49 one hanging there for a while, because we haven't seen him for a couple of seasons. But yeah, look, it is great, and it's great to see the guys coming back week after week. In the end, we race against each other every week. You love seeing the same names there battling hard. A new person comes in, they've got to find their feet, but it's all about respect, and if you can race hard and close, then you'll earn the respect of the guys out there.
Well, 26 cars are gridded up at the moment. Josh King, Callan Hodgkinson have not made the start just yet. We wait for the lights to go up. I'm a little bit miffed that the cars do not actually line up in the pit, in the grid boxes, I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit annoying that they do not line up, but it's okay. Lights are going to go up, though. We're going to go racing for race number 1 of Silverstone here tonight. Byrne and Gallo on the front row of the grid, with the returning Vella and De Bono in behind. How clean can they keep it through turn 1? It was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson off wide.
Yeah, I saw a bit of contact there at the back there, so it looks like Jordan's got away with it. He's back on the track, but it is the Carlin's Motorsports. Oh, who's that? That's Vella that's already made a move on Gallo. I thought it was both the Carlin's boys, but Vella already pressing hard for the lead and putting the pressure on Daniel Byrne straight up.
Well, he's returned back into the series, and he already wants to put a claim on the top step. Unfortunate there for Ferguson, the only Englishman in the field, and not having the English luck that he would have hoped for, as Rossonita and Wakefield are having issues at the moment. They've had a big moment at the back end. Where is he? There he is there off track. Big damage on his cars. Piccoli spun it around in the background as well. Everyone's going which way or the other as the top 2 come through too wide onto the back part of this track. Nearly had a Verstappen Hamilton moment.
Contact in the rear there as well.
There was. That's Anderson in the wall, and Matt Gerard are off track as well. So big moments already here on lap number 1 We will get the replays happening at the end of this one, Cowie, as Byrne takes back the lead of this race from Phil Vella.
Oh, plenty happening right at the start of this race, and just the field contested. And I think there's a bit of contact, maybe some moves going on. Oh, big double fake there by Vella. And Byrne. Oh, this is good stuff. We're only on lap 1.
Oh, imagine how the rest of this race is going to go, Cowie. You can feel the energy in the air. This race is not going to be one of those straight and point forward races. I feel like we're going to have a bit of a chaotic one here tonight. We didn't even do our safety car predictions. By the way things are going, Cowie, I think we could be on for possibly 2 or 3 safety cars across both races, because these guys are fighting for blood at the moment. I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to go with the safe one.
You're going to go with 2, or I'll go with 3 then.
Oh, very good. We'll see which one is true. Lap 2 now of this race. We're going to wait for it to cool down to go back on those replays, ladies and gentlemen, as the top battle on track is contested by barely anything between Byrne, Vella, Dixon, Gallo, Gowans, DeBono, Barton, Kanitska and Fahey. They're all involved in an opportunity for a battle right now. At the top end of town, well, they are in one intense fight for the lead, and the winner of this race is Vella. Looks right up the inside, but Byrne just carries a little bit more speed into that corner. Benici reckons there's going to be 4 safety cars on track tonight, Cowie.
Well, I looking a little bit greyer out there now.
Just a bit of cloud
there. I thought maybe a bit of rain on the horizon, but you can see here the toe. Byrne just trying to, I suppose, trying to stop that toe straight away. And Vella getting a good slingshot, getting caught on the outside there at T1, but. Okay, looks like 033 on the radio for a moment there. That's Kevin Wakefield, so the race control having a look at that. And at the moment, Vella has finally got through on Byrne. So, stayed around the outside there and was obviously had the inside for T3 to get that done. Or DeBono caught, he's getting squeezed a little bit by his teammate there. Both of them trying to work together. Oh, who's that?
Pathway. That's Barton that's been spun round at the top of the hill. And he's now going to drop
done that himself, I think.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, Cowie. That's what it looked like. Oh, he's lost a heap of spots off that. DeBono's also gone round and into the wall off the final corner.
He's going to get that car going. I think he might be stuck there.
I think he might be, and this may be early safety car. Might give us an opportunity to have a look at some of the replays that have happened throughout this one already. As we will check it all out for you, ladies and gentlemen. As Callum Rossonita, he's not on the radio just yet. Rossonita and Wakefield had this incident early on as they came through Brooklands. Oh, that was a big, big moment between them.
Interlocking wheels there, I think, and just to see how it spat them around.
Coley had this spin off the exit. Just going a little bit too much speed, I think, a little bit too much gas pedal together.
Yeah, just cold tyres, I think. Maybe pushing a little bit too hard too early.
This was Anderson and Gerard. So Anderson, Gerard went for it up the inside, just absolutely turned him into that corner.
Yeah, it's a hard spot to pass there, and you've got to have a big speed overlap. I don't know if he had that then. So we'll see what race control's got to say.
That was a little bit of a late move, it looked like, as this was Wakefield who had another off track. Let's see what he did. Oh, it was a big slide. Did well though to pull it up. Very lucky.
DeBono didn't have his mic hooked up. I think he's typed in toe please, but I haven't heard a response from race control at the moment. This is what's happened to him here. Yep, so that was self.
So that was self-inflicted, and then this was DeBono's down at the final couple of corners. I think this looks like it was self-inflicted. Oh yeah, big curb hop. And then, oh yeah, that thing, yeah, that needs a toe for sure. For sure that needs a toe.
He's in the pits, though. Race control has given him permission to toe on the racing line, so to speak.
Yeah, I think he was,
then again,
he was far enough out.
Well, isn't that the same place that Stappen ended up with his contact? No, it wasn't.
Haven't been. Oh, well, with Hamilton. No, that was where Gerard and Anderson had their incident. So that was from that one as well. Oh, we have actually got a safety car, Cowie. We have got one. It has been called. So all of a sudden, I'm on the bubble, and we're only 6.5 minutes in.
No, you went for 3.
I went,
on the bubble just yet.
I went for 2. You went for 3,
Oh,
Cowie.
for 2. That's
Yeah.
right. I suppose you are. You're not on the bubble yet.
I'll
You need 2 to be
I'll
on the
be
bubble.
fair. I said 2. Now, if we get to 3 and we're looking like another one, then my 2 is going to sound like a 4. We've had this conversation
Sean's got you
before.
there, so
Yeah.
Sean's got that already.
He has, yeah.
Oh, just settle things down, but there's a fair bit happening early on in this race. I mean, Vela pushed hard to get to the front there. Great pressure on Byrne. And Gallo's recovered well, now back into P3. Gowans, Dixon, Fahey behind them. So, yeah, Bono's going to be a lap down. So he'll need another safety car to get back into this one. But it should be an exciting race number 2 for him coming from the back of the field.
Well,
we've also...
At the moment, Kerry, I've seen Sheafy's currently P10 and on wood to start pole position for race 2. Now, I know we're going to have like 10 minutes to go when the safety car comes in. But if he can hold off Jason Depp or at least keep it clean enough to remain in P10 on the road, well, that could be one hell of a night for Sheafy.
Don't be surprised to see the Neon Machine in that battle.
This
there
is true.
P10
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Nathan Verney, he is a master of finding his way to the front of a grid in a reverse.
And Scotty Barton as well. I mean, Sinker had some good pace in qualifying and practice, so he could be on the bubble as well. Andrew Rushworth's thinking there's going to be 1 in the heat and 3 in the feature. Well, he's already on wood for that one, so we'll see if his exact prediction is correct of 1 in this heat race as the safety car looks to pull away, and we'll get ready to go green once again. I believe next lap, as there shouldn't be any wave arounds, as DeBono is the only car who's a lap down at the moment.
I think we're seeing a few guys here clutching. Did I get any info from Hutto? I don't think so.
I only got the race start info. I didn't get any stats or anything.
So we're not sure about fuel numbers and that sort of stuff. So I think, we'd be looking, generally the way these work, the 20-minute sprint, you don't need a pit. The 40-minute, there'll be a one-stopper. It's generally the way these play out, but, saving a bit of fuel.
Adrian Loretti's in the chat saying big names. We need you back, Adrian. We need you back in the field. We need this mid-2023 field to get going again. As Vela's going to lead them round to go green as of lap 5 of this race. He's gone green before the final corner. Let's go racing once again here at Silverstone for race number 1. Vela leads them away nice and clean. Hopefully they've kept themselves nice and contained here for the restart, as Gowan's already looking for an early move on Gallo, but Gallo's just able to carry a little bit more speed through that corner, Cowie, and hold him off for the moment.
Great track, Silverstone. It does allow a lot of these sort of movements where you can, feint, you can get up alongside quite fast, and we're already seeing a few guys trying to make moves early, though that's Vela that's that was Byrne, ran a bit wide there and got a bit bumpy, so that is going to cost him some speed down that first straight there. But at the moment, Phil Vela, he has led the field away, hasn't broken Daniel Byrne completely, so we're still on for good excitement up front.
Well, we can see here a little bit further back, battle for P10's happening between Sheafy and Depp. Depp has gotten the move done, so Sheafy will be hoping to continue his run forward. He's had a good run of form the last couple of weeks. Cowie, last week at Red Bull Ring, he managed to get himself a top 5 in the first race, and followed it up with another strong performance in race 2 as well, as Depp's lost it and Sheafy gets the position for free, but all of a sudden he has massive pressure in behind by Scotty Barton, who will be trying to close him down, chase him down as quickly as possible, as we've now just gotten to the halfway point of this race.
Well, that's what we're talking about there with this car. You're pushing it hard, trying to find every ounce of pace, and it only takes a little bit too much to tip it over the edge. But at the moment, Tyler Sheed, he holds down P10. He's got Scott Barton behind him. So Scotty back in the pack a little bit, as our pro, probably expecting to be a little bit further up the front, but could be a strategic play for him playing for that P10 and lead away race number 2.
Remember, he had that spin up at the top of the hill early on before that safety car was called. At the moment, though, the front 2 are starting to swap and change positions here for the lead of this race, as well as Gallo and Gowans in behind them. So there's a couple little battles happening now throughout this field. Anderson and Gerard are trying to make their way through as the top 2 look to lock wheels. They need to be careful of this one, boys. Don't want to get caught up in a moment and end up at the back of the field. as Rosanita had a minor off track previously, but he's still going at the back of the field. As these top two continue to battle it out. Rosanita's had a big spin though. I believe Buckland's been involved as well. So a lot of drivers getting caught up in some incidents here as Sheafy and Barton now battling it out for P10. There's so much stuff happening, Kerry. We can't keep up with it all at the moment.
Good to see these boys are throwing everything at it at the moment, and even Stephanie out there getting in amongst it, which is great to see. But it is Vella and Burns again, or both going side there. Vella getting the car to flick out but stick. That's what we're looking for in these machines. And that is, you know, when you're right on the edge with the car doing that.
I do not know how these guys are able to find so much pace and grip in these cars. Phil Vella, after a couple of seasons away, it doesn't seem like he's been away for that long, Kerry. It feels like he's only raced as of last week. He is giving absolutely nothing up as Jay Dixon is now trying to get past David Gallo for P3. Gets it done off the exit of the second to last little section there into the final couple of corners now as Gowans has gone round under brakes.
Tried to be a little bit late on the brakes there. Dougie in the rear of the cars looped around on him. That's trail braking, and he's just pushed the limit a little bit too much. And, you know, you're damned if you don't. If you don't stay on the brakes there, you spear into the car in front. You stay on the brakes, and the car rotates on you, and you sit duck. So it looks like he's got away with it without any damage, but that's cost him a whole chunk of positions. So, you know, we might have to keep an eye on Dougie Gowans for that P10 play. We'll have to see how far back he is.
Well, he's currently back in P14, but all the guys we said would be involved in this battle for P10 are currently involved, Cowie. We've got Sheafy, Verney, Sinkovic as Gallo and Dixon are battling up ahead as well. And Depp's also back on the back of this battle. Gowans should be involved pretty soon as they continue this little dance, this little wrestle into this section as Dixon, Gallo and Fahey, both the DFR boys, looking to tag team against the Sol Carlin's car a bit further back. His teammate, of course, is battling the leader in Phil Vella. And wow, what a return it would be for DFR, Cowie, if they were able to get a podium lockout in one of these races here tonight.
Pretty early to be calling that sort of stuff at the moment, but I'm sure that Gallo is aware that DFR have returned. They're monstering him here a little bit at the moment, but he is in a position. He's got the toe of Fahey in front of him. Dixon behind. You can see a little bit of wiggle moving down the straight there to try and break the toe, but that's how effective it is. It's still close up front between Byrne and Vella, 2.2 there, but these are the battles we want to see. We're coming into about 5.5 minutes left of this first heat race, and you know, there's action aplenty on track.
You see this, Gallo's been forced out wide now by Fahey. Dixon looks to try and get a move done as well. They're battling here, there, or everywhere at the moment. This is all for P3 on the road. The top two, they've checked out by about 5 seconds of Vella and Byrne at the front of the field. David Gallo is just trying to hold on. He's trying to clinch this P3 at the moment, but he has got massive pressure from the returning Jay Dixon and Darren Fahey, as well as Pocock and Knitsker and Ratcliffe and Barton. All these guys are involved right now, and all of them have a chance at a podium finish here in race number 1.
This is that DRS train I was talking about. It looks like the front two have checked out, as you said, but we've got about 7 cars there battling together, and then you look back, there's another 4 or 5 that are only about 2 seconds back as well.
You can see Scotty Barton, he's now back in the game. He's just gotten past Shane Ratcliffe now to make the top 8 all-pro cars on track. The only 2 pros out of it are the 2 Velocity SimLabs pro drivers in the current field here tonight, Doug Gowans and Dylan DeBono. A little bit out of sorts, of course. DeBono is back out on track. I know he's, is he? Yes, he is. He's back out on track, but unfortunately a lap down and needs another safety car to get back into this race. Biggest gainers so far, Cowie, in this one is Greg Johnston. He's up 7 spots and has just lost a position to Jack Anderson, who's trying to make his way back through the field after contact with Matty Gerard. Then also Nathan Verney, he's up 7 as well, currently P12 in behind Jason Depp, as it's an all-pro-am battle for this P10 spot at the moment, but Gowans is looking to make a change and get back up into the top 10.
managed to step a little bit away from these guys, perhaps enough to break the draft. We'll have to see. The draft is so powerful around here. If you do manage to break it, that can be a big advantage. We're seeing that, the two out front, they keep maintaining that 5-second gap. Gallo has got that big train of cars in behind him, so his eyes are fully in the mirrors and working on defence, whereas the rest of the field, he's having a great run.
Well, Sheafy's got a little bit easier than what David Gallo does at the moment. Jason Depp had just gone into the pit lane, not 100% sure why, possibly getting a penalty for himself. He didn't stop, I believe it was just a drive-through. It was, so I think he may have actually copped a penalty for an incident that happened earlier in the running. But at the moment, David Gallo, I mean, he feels like a little minnow at the moment, being attacked by a bunch of sharks here, namely the DFR boys in behind him, as he's just trying to survive right now, Cowie, and he's doing well to do that right now, but Dixon and Fahey, they're not going to make it easy for him. These guys are fast and hard-driving competitors, and they will consistently put pressure on him until he cracks like a poor old egg.
There's 7 of them here battling hard, so every one of them's a chance of this third podium position. I mean, they're racing hard, and it's great to see. I mean, this is what you want to be a part of. These tight, close battles, and really having to push and earn your podium spot.
Well, these battles are continuing hard and fast as Vella and Byrne are working together at the front of the field to break away from this P3 battle, as Dixon looks to get it done up the inside of David Gallo. He has to give him a reprieve. He has to let him have it for the moment. Hope to fight another day, as we only have 2 minutes left, Cowie. So when the leaders cross the line, I think we're going to have 1 lap left, and this should be the white flag now as they come across.
Look, Vella has just gained a couple of extra tenths. It's been close the whole time. I don't know if that's Byrne has given him a little bit of space, or maybe a tiny little mistake, but it's close. And again, it's when does Byrne make his move? Does he save it for the hanger straight, or does he try to get it done beforehand?
Well, it's if he can even get close enough to get the move done as well. Okay, remember, he has to maximise that run out of corners. We know that Vella, he's a driver that we hardly ever see make a mistake in these types of cars, and he's one that is able to just maximize his exits. He's always on that real edge of grip, and he's able to get the maximum out of these cars. We know Byrne can do it too on his best day, but right now Vella is just looking to be unstoppable right now. And well, if he continues his run like this into next season, it may be an easy win for the championship, but Byrne will not make it easy for him if he can.
He's in touch. Come up to Maggots and Beckett.
It's going to matter. It's going to...
close.
Yeah, he needs to get the run through Maggots and Beckett's so he can try and get it up towards Cops, and if he can't get it done up towards there...
And a good run there from both of them, but he's close enough. He's in the toe.
Oh, battle is going on hard right now as they come up towards the top of the hill. I don't know if Daniel Byrne's close enough. He's looking for an outside line here on Phil Vella. Vella covers the inside.
Phil stayed on the inside there. It was right on the limit. Byrne going left, going right, trying to... Oh, a little bit deep there from Vella.
Oh, there's been contact with him. Byrne's going to come round. He looked to try and redress it, but he's kept going. He's going to cross the line in P1. Vella's going to come across P2 ahead of his teammate Jay Dixon. But I mean, looking at that, I don't know if Byrne cops anything for that. I'm not 100% sure, Cowie. But this is going to be provisional at the moment, as Sheafy's going to come across P9 after another strong performance. Konitska dropped back a couple of spots, but crucially, he's in P10 and he'll be starting pole position in the second race.
Well, again, another little bit of controversy at the end of one of our super light F3 races. So, take a week off, mate, and come back, it's the same thing.
Well, it's unfortunate, but it's involved Daniel Byrne once again, Cowie. And I don't want to put the moz on him and say, look, he's been involved in these sorts of incidents, but sometimes that's racing. Sometimes you're just involved in a little moment, pushing hard, trying to get something done. It's what happens.
certainly close there. I thought he might have been able to redress that. So I don't know how race control play that out as far as the point situation go. But it will mean that he'll start P10 and Vela start P9 unless race control make a decision.
They may give him a PLS off that, Cowie. If they find it's not in his favour, if they look at it and say, "Oh, this is Daniel's fault," they may just give him a pit lane start because they can't really give him a rear of grid because of where his grid slot will be. The only thing I can see is yeah.
I didn't hear race control. I didn't hear him call it out to race control either, so they may not even look at it. But yeah, look, it could have been netcode. They were racing pretty close. Sometimes, you know, again, we've said plenty of times before in this car, you know, there's no brake lights, so you don't know when the car in front's going to stop. So sometimes when you're that close, you can't avoid contact. But those boys were racing really hard for the entire heat race here, and I'm sure it's going to happen again when they're going to try and fight their way through the field. So this should be exciting.
Well, we'll see how the drivers are going to be contested in race number 2. We have got a little 5-minute warm-up for you now, though.
Hang on a second, buddy.
Yep.
Just seeing what race control had to say there. They did say something about 001, so I'm not sure if they've ruled on that because I missed it. That's all. But race control was just going through a couple of incidents and reviews that they had. But I didn't catch what was the end result there.
For which car, sorry? Because 001 should be a safety car number. I don't know why Vela's got that number.
Well, he is the previous champion, so he did walk away from this. The
yeah,
champion gets the number 1.
Yeah, but he's not the champion though. He didn't win last season.
He was the last time he came here, so
yeah.
last time he raced.
Last champion was of course Dave Roberts.
Byrne has the rights to the
in the F1 Shadow rounds
for the Shadow Series.
Yeah,
that's right.
But for the F3s in general, it's currently Dave Roberts who should have the number 1. So very interesting.
I don't think they're going to crook it, Mr. Vela, for that. But we will have to wait until the cars grid up to see, you know, what's happened there as a result, because race control hasn't put Callum Rosanida saying he'll take the rear grid apologies. So I'm not sure if that was one that had been dished out by race control. But we're in the little warm-up period at the moment. Again, man, come back and lots of exciting racing. That battle for P3 was fully exciting there as well. And did we see who actually came home in that? Because I missed it.
We will get the provisional results up now for race number 1, and we'll be able to run through who got which position. Provisional as they are, whether Daniel Byrne keeps his win or not, I'm not 100% sure, but Byrne comes home P1 ahead of Phil Vela and Jay Dixon on the podium with Darren Fahey in behind. Then Scotty Barton, David Gallo, Scott Pocock for the top 7. Then Shane Ratcliffe, Tyler Sheaf for the top 2 of the Pro-Am, P8, P9 on the road. Former teammates finishing alongside each other. And then Marcus Knitska made up the top 10, so that whole 10 will be reversed, and it'll be Knitska on pole the next race. Sheafy will line up alongside on the front row. It'll then be Vernie, Gowans, Ferguson, Gerard, McCulloch for the top 15, and then Anderson, Depp, Johnston, Wakefield for the top 19 cars on track here tonight.
There must have been something there we missed, because Jason Depp, he was battling up in that battle for the P10 spot, and he finished P17.
Yeah, he came in the pits, remember? He came into the pits for a drive-through, so that's why he dropped down. It was then Gander making up the top 20, Cashin, Piccoli, Sinkovic, De Bono, Buckland, Rosanita making up the rest of the field, as King and Hodgkinson never got going in race number 1. How are you, Tyson? Great to have you in the chat, mate.
It's happy birthday to Tyson too, so happy birthday, buddy, and I hope you had a great day.
Why are we getting asked to look at Steph's helmet for? What? Oh, it's got pickles on it, I see. That's funny. Jace Douglas in the chat as well. Great to have you out there, Jace. As Steph is just trying to get up to grips with this car. First season she has in this one. Happy birthday,
Well,
Tice.
Sam hoping that the rain crash to desktop is the latest update's going to fix everything for you. I certainly hope so, buddy. We don't want to see, championships decided because your computer doesn't want to handle it.
Well,
Part of the reason we went to this car was to add that full weather experience.
No, it's not Sheafy's birthday, Sam. It's Tyson's birthday. Sheafy's birthday was a couple of weeks ago.
One pickles always on the menu there, Brad. It was Steph does liveries as always pickles.
Apparently, but one thing that I have to be careful of, Gary, I have to clean out my PC and make sure everything's situated properly, because literally if I knock this table, my PC will blue screen and it will restart. So I'm like literally moving at an absolute snail's pace, touching anything on this table in hopes that it does not have a sook at me. Oh no, I've just noticed the text has gone wrong. That means something's going to happen to these overlays. Hopefully it fixes itself. Starting grid though for race number 2 here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, will be as follows. I'm going to restart everything actually before I run through this grid. So let me quickly just restart the overlays just in case something happens to them. It'll be Marcus Knitzer, Tyler Sheaf, Shane Ratcliffe, Scott Pocock, David Gallo, Scott Barton, Darren Fahey, Jay Dixon, Phil Vella, Daniel Byrne making up the top 10. Everyone else will will start how they finished in race number 1 here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to quickly reload our overlays because they have decided to be a little bit of a nuisance right now.
Sam Catacazina saying it's his birthday as well, so happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday, Sam. Great to have you in the chat.
Getting ready to go, buddy. Here is race number 2. As they grid up our feature race here, 40-minute race. Here come the lights. And they get away. It's a cleaner start from the field this time. No one bogging down. But already, I think we had one car missing off the grid there. Who's that started? So it was Daniel Byrne starting from the pit. So there is that result for the race number 1. So he's got it all to do.
He does indeed. He has to come all the way from the back of the field. Ross Anita, as I mentioned, has also started from the back of the pack here for this one, as Knitska has led them away here. We'll get our data back on screen in just a moment.
As well.
Oh no.
Don't know what's happened. Something there, if he's dropped out.
Maybe he's decided to just not finish up tonight's race after the unfortunate end in race number 1, possibly.
But Marcus Knitska is getting the early jump on the field. He's already to our second clear. And that looks like Randy Ratcliffe. Good to see the Rat back. And he's got up into P2 ahead of Tyler Sheep at the moment. But already there's a gaggle of pros behind those two. So they can't take too long. But Knitska, he's using this time to just check out nice and early. And hopefully build himself a bit of a buffer so that when those pros do get through, he's clear of the toe.
He's done well to break away here. Sheafy's done well for start. He's only lost the 1 spot. Holding his position well here. Should be confident that Gallo's not going to go for anything impatient off this start. Fahey as well. So we could be on here for a good battle. As Piccoli's had a moment in the background. She spun it round. Maybe a little bit too much vinegar in the brine as she needs to watch the rejoin. Nearly takes out Rosanita. Very lucky not to, as the curb hop just unsettled the car as she came back on track. As Gowans has also gone off at the back of the field, Cowan. We could be on here for another early safety car. Phil Buckland's also just spun it round as well.
It looked like the rear of Gowan's car there was a bit ordinary, so I don't know if there's a problem. It's just the way these cars sit and look sometimes. They do sit quite low to the ground, but at the moment it is Knitska out in front as that Sheepy was making a move there on Radcliffe. And oh no, he's looped it around Sheepy. So that's going to hurt. Drops him down. Oh, look, that is about 15, 16 spots that's cost him.
Yeah.
So not what he wanted to do tonight. I think it was just pushing a little bit too hard. But we know Sheepy, he'll bounce back. He'll stay in the fight. But he might be kicking himself.
Yeah, he definitely might be, as Jay Dixon's, Phil Velliso is looking to have a fast run up the 10. He's already gotten past David Gallo, now sits P4 on the road against one of his old rivals in Scotty Barton, just ahead of him now. Sam saying someone threw Greek olive oil on track. It was Sam. He's at the track, he's just not racing. He's oiling it up for us to help get some cars off track.
Greek yogurt's pretty nasty stuff.
I don't mind a bit of Greek yogurt as long as it is a little bit sweetened. I think natural Greek yogurt's just a little bit too tart for my liking. Vela and Barton are battling it out here for P3 on the road. Andrew saying, so there was one safety car in race 1, now I just need 3 in this race. Well, we'll have to wait and see. They did actually settle themselves down a little bit, didn't they, Cowie, towards the end of that race 1? So, interesting to see how this one's going to play out, but they're looking a little bit more tame.
I think there was a fair bit happening at the end of that race. We just had a great battle for P1 and P2 that we missed it.
Yeah.
Because there was still some great battles in the mid-pack, and much like this race as well, you know, we've got a train of, 7 cars here, all pretty close to each other. Vela back, you know, I love seeing these big trains. And Vela getting the job done on Scotty Barton there. And we can see Gallo trying to look and make a move himself as well, so...
See Vela's, he's playing the smart play right now. He's backing them up into each other to force the battles, as Greg Johnston has had a moment in the background as well. He's off track. Oh. The car looks okay though at the moment, Cowie, but unfortunately for him, he's traversed all the way to the back of the field.
Correct machine there in the back. Unfortunate for Greggy, but I mean, as Andrew said, you know, I think we're at least good for at least one more safety car to bunch the field back up. But at the moment, you know, these guys are pushing hard, which is exactly what we want to see. Jason Depp and Zach Ferguson, they're battling hard. These guys are alongside each other. We've got Kevin Wakefield and Gordon McCulloch battling in behind them as well. So, you know, and these are battles well back in the pack, but it's what you love to see, battles everywhere.
Yep, as they come up towards Maggots and Beckett's. Ferguson looking to put the pressure on Depp at the moment for P11. Ferguson's teammate Jack Anderson just up the road. He's currently in P10 at the moment after an unfortunate moment in race 1. He's had some good gains in this one. He's up 6 spots already inside the 10, looking to chase down Nathan Verney in the neon machine that we both love seeing on track.
Radio at the moment. I was Matty Gerard there, so something's happened to him in the middle of this as well. But this is a good little battle here from Depp and Ferguson. Ferguson getting sweep around the outside and the inside for the final corner, or second last corner. That is a confident move there from Sam Ferguson. Jordan Ferguson, I should say. Great move.
Yeah, he's done well to get that move done. But Depp's going to look to come back at him now across this lap. We'll see how well Ferguson does defend against him. As Ferguson will be hoping that his teammates are able to pull him forward just up the road for him, maybe get him out of this battle, as Wakefield's going to start to put some pressure on Depp. Oh, he wanted a lunge but wasn't quite there. The door was just shut on him at the last moment. As Ferguson continues to survive.
Good effort from Depp there though.
Yeah, he did well.
He stays up the inside there. He owns that corner, but so he's pushing hard here at the moment. And these boys having a real crack at each other, which is exactly what you want to see. And you know, if they're anything like me, these two are grinning ear to ear as this battle goes on.
Oh, they would be, I'm sure. If I know Jordan, he'll be sweating right now. He'll be hoping that he can get out of this battle. He'll have a smile, but it'll be a sweaty smile at the moment. He'll be dripping from ear to ear. But I have noticed as well, David Gallo, Jay Dixon, their battle's continuing on with Scotty Barton. These guys are having a hell of a scrap, as Vela's now gotten past Shane Ratcliffe for P2, and now eyes up Pace Syndicate's Marcus Knitska up the road from him, as the battles are continuing fast and hard in amongst the whole field. A bit further back, we have a closer battle here between Sheafy, Sinkovic. Burns just led out from them. They've got, I believe, Russell Gander involved too. Look at these guys go, Cowie. This is all for amateur honours, as there's been contact with Sinkovic, Gerard, and I believe Cashin's. Oh no, Cashin's not involved.
Gowans, I think, caught in that as well.
Possibly. Yeah, it was Gowans. He's now off track. That was a big, big moment there into Maggots and Beckett's. This is how it happened here. We'll go on board with Mr. Sinkovic. Oh, he's had contact on the rear. It spun it round. Gowans did well, actually, not to hit him as they come off track. That was a very fair effort from him. We'll have a look at that.
It is one of the things that the guys spoke about, these cars, those nose to tails. You know, where there's slight contact tends to hurt the car behind more than the car in front. Oh, look at that.
Look at that car control from Doug Gowans. Take a bow, sir, if it doesn't hurt your back. Well done.
maybe a tiny little scratch on the front of that.
No,
but
quite
wow,
possibly.
That was
Just,
a good effort.
just a little kiss. As Depp and Ferguson, their battle continues on. This has allowed Anderson, though, just to break away a little bit. 3.7 seconds, or 3.2 seconds, I should say, actually, is now the gap between Depp and Ferguson's battle and the back of Jack Anderson's car as they come round into the old start-finish straight here of Silverstone. I believe this is the start-finish straight that's used for the MotoGP, isn't it now? They use the old start-finish straight, don't they?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the MotoGP around this circuit, so you're probably right, but... okay, race control. I think they've just issued a penalty, but I didn't know who it was for.
I wasn't not quite sure.
Tyler Sheep. Tyler Sheep.
So they found him at
Contact
fault.
There. Nice battle going on here. Jay Dixon, Barchin, Gallo, Pocock's in the mix of this as well. So this is great little battling here again. 6 cars here battling for P4, and
I'll tell you what,
Radcliffe, Shane Radcliffe, he's doing alright there, hanging on to P3 at the moment.
He is,
he's got a couple of seconds on these guys at the moment.
Yeah, Vernie's got the hot seat right now to watch this battle happen right now, Cowie. He's done well to sit with these guys, but he is incurring a little bit of pressure at the moment from Jack Anderson, who will get up on the back of him here if this battle continues, but he'll be hoping to pick up the crumb if any of these guys drop the ball.
But it's what happens. We know that the moment you start battling in these cars, you're giving up a second or two a lap, just for that, battling and fighting for position. And the moment the 2 cars in the front start battling, it just gives everyone behind a chance to catch up onto the back of the train and join the fight. And I mean, it is what makes this racing so appealing. We spoke about it before here at Silverstone. It's one of those tracks where things can spread out really quickly, and it can be a bit of a lackluster event, or it can remain tight when the tow is constantly throwing things about, and that's what we've got at the moment. Vela, he's bringing the hunt down. He's already halved that distance at Konitska, so I think Marcus here, he's already looking in his mirror, and Vela's still a second and a half back.
The battle is continuing on. I think if Vernie's smart and Anderson gets on the back of him and wants to get the move done, Vernie may just be best off letting him go, sit on the back of him and let him try and charge through this pack if he can, as Pocock's now also eyeing up a move here on David Gallo. Gallo, though, covers that inside line, cuts the laneway off for Pocock as they... you can see Dixon also wants a bit of an assault on it too. It's a nice little 4-way dance here for position as Vernie's trying to find a laneway for himself, but this battle...
Great to see. I love a corner where you can see that staying on the outside line is going to be, you've got to sweep around the outside and that'll give you the inside for the next corner, and that's exactly what Bargin did there. And, we saw Gallo go for a move up the inside. It's just exciting racing when that happens. And now they're looking to go 3 wide as Dixon decides to put his 2 cents in. This is great stuff.
Yeah, the battles are going on hard and fast. There has been a moment in the background, so we'll cut away very, very quickly here to Jason Depp, who had himself a bit of an incident here as he's on the outside of Ferguson, tries to cut back on the inside. Big lunge and big contact, and Depp may have some answering for himself for that one, because I don't know if that's a viable move at that point, Cowie.
I think that car's not moving anywhere. We may have a safety car. I heard him on the radio there for the moment.
So Ferguson's moving.
Okay,
Depp is also moving, but without a front wing. So I don't know if that was such a smart play from Depp there, to be honest. I know he's new into the series. Yeah, I don't know. That's not really a corner that you can go for a lunge down the inside. If the driver doesn't know you're there.
That is one I was talking about, though. You sweep around the outside, you hold the inside. So definitely make a play, but just outbroke himself. And, unfortunately, you need to be in control of the car. If you make contact and you're not in control of the car, then race control is going to ping you, and that is definitely one of those situations. Well, we see here again, Gallo trying to make that move up the inside of the end of the hangar straight, but you can see Bargin stay and get around the outside, and that keeps him the inside run here. But this is another one we saw in race number 1. If you can stay on the outside there, you've got the inside for the next corner. But at the moment, Gallo just, he's holding back a little, maybe looking to pick his fight. But Scotty Barton, he's having a great race up here in battling hard.
It's great to have Scotty Barton back in the field, isn't it? It's so good having him back.
I mean, look, all of these guys, these are the names we've had here in the season for, in and out for a few years, and it's great to have them all back. But we just know that, you get these fast guys together and they're going to produce great racing because each of them is prepared to go for it if they can, but they've got the speed to be able to run together and create these great battles, and that's what we're seeing.
Well, we can see they're all a little bit feisty and hungry for an opportunity at a pass. We could see Darren Fahey was lining something up on Pocock in the background. Couldn't quite get it done, though, into Brooklands as they come round onto the old start-finish line of this Silverstone circuit. We're just around about a third of the way through this race, 15 minutes in. At the moment, it is Marcus Knitska who leads the way to Phil Vella right now. Vella hasn't quite caught up onto the back of him just yet, but we know there will be a pit stop incoming, and whether Vella has returned with a vengeance and returned with similar tenacity that he has done before in his pit stop strategies that have taken him victory after victory in the F3 series here on SRW TV. We'll see how it plays out when they get into the pit stop period in probably around about 10 minutes time, Cowie.
I think, seeing these guys here, Vella, he hasn't lost any of it. I haven't really had a chance to have a chat to him to see what he was doing. I know he was very much a lover of the old F3 car, and I know he was racing in a couple of the other series with that. Looks like he's made the transition over to the super light and has found his feet as well, because right from the word go tonight, he's been on the pace. Didn't quite have the qualifying pace of the Carlins boys, but that may have well come down to a bit of teamwork, with the draft that got them to the front of the tree. But definitely showing his class here in this race. He's up 7 positions at the moment, starting P9 on the grid, and now he's close enough that he's in that tow, and we're going to see this gap, come right down, and I'm sure Vella will be looking to make a move in the next lap or two.
I'm sure he will try and line this up and get it absolutely calculated to perfection. So notice that Anderson's now dropped off the back of that top end battle, maybe giving himself a little bit of a gap, maybe a bit of fuel saving, just to try and get a pit stop advantage over that tight battle, save himself from getting caught out, and maybe even go for a bit of an undercut. I think that may even be, if he can get up on the back of them, sit behind them for a lap, and then undercut them, maybe the play from him, if he can get out fast enough, get out outside of traffic, and actually just make some gains under his own pace while those guys battle it out ahead of him.
Yeah, I think he's had a poor lap. He did a 154 last lap, so that's about 3 seconds off the pace of the guys in front of him, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was a mistake there. But he's holding on to P10 at the moment, having a good run, and behind him, Daniel Byrne, well, he's trying to recover back from a pit lane start, now up to P11, but he's 17 seconds off the lead, so he really needs a safety car to bunch everything back up again if he's to make it towards the podium for this race number 2 tonight.
Well, we know that if a safety car does come into play, we suspect the whole field would come into the pit lane, take their pit stop in this race. Now, if they have pitted to this point, Cowie, they realistically could get home if it's been within the last sort of 5 or 6 minutes, as a full tank's going to get them around about 25 to 30 minutes on track. So we are at the point now where if they did pit, they could get home, and if they have pit, they can get home as well. So we'll see if Safety Car City is going to come into effect here at Silverstone, or if it's only going to be one for the night here, as Barton looks to run away from David Gallo and Jay Dixon as their battle continues on. Shane Ratcliffe's done well to survive thus far and get himself a nice little gap over this this battle for P4 at the moment.
Look, Shane didn't quite have the pace of Vella and Knitska. We saw that gap open up early. Vella was able to pressure his way past and get onto Knitska now. Only have to chase up about 2 or 3 seconds, but Shane has done well there, but that gap now 7 seconds, and what he's done is the pros of Barsh, Gallo, Dixon, Pocock, Fahey behind him have all been a bit of a slave to Scotty's pace, and their own battles have meant that they've been a second or more a lap off the pace as well. So our front runners, and Vela looks like he has got the job done on Konitska. We've missed that.
I got it before, Cowie. You missed it. I didn't miss
you did
it.
Too.
I caught it on camera, don't you worry.
And you did too, apologies. That was me missing it because I was talking about something else. But we can see here, you know, Sam's got the toe now, so hopefully he can keep this fight going to Phil.
No. What's with your obsession in calling people Sam tonight, Cowie? First you called Jordan Sam, now you're calling Marcus Sam, as Dixon, Pocock and Fahey have brought it into the pits for their pit stop, Cowie.
Oh, it's Sam's birthday, I suppose. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but you're thinking of Sam Catakazinos when you're talking about Jordan Ferguson, who's from Velocity Racing Team, so quite an easy mistake. But then also Marcus Konitska from Pace Syndicate.
Yeah, but we've had a Sam Ferguson, I'm sure, as well. But again, it is you know, one of those things when you're trying to talk fast and follow the action. I'm allowed an occasional faux pas, I suppose.
I didn't know you spoke French, Cowie.
Oh, probably the only word I know, but you know, these things happen.
Apologies français. As Vela leads the way at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the halfway point of this race. Currently, as it stands, it is Vela to Konitska to Ratcliffe to Barton to Gallo. That's the top 5. Then Vernie, Anderson, Byrne, McCulloch, Dixon make up the 10. Wakefield, Gerard, Pocock, Fahey and Sheaf make up the 15, but we're well within our pit stop period. So the field will change up a little bit here across this next 5 or 10 minutes. And then that's when we'll get a real display of who's in what position and who's up for grabs in terms of a podium or possibly a win here tonight at Silverstone.
Good thing that Marcus is not giving up this fight, and with a great toe, it looks like he's got through on Vela, and I'm sure that this is not going to phase Phil at all. He'll just, you know, he's made it to the front now. It's still got 20 minutes to go, and if he can't break clear, that won't worry him. But at the moment, he'd be looking for that opportunity to, you know, just break this, get past, break the toe, and run away with it.
Well, I have noticed as well, Cowie, you're not the only one who's calling other people Sam tonight. Phil Vela's car, in fact, is calling itself Sam. If you notice on some of the cameras, it has got Sam on the side of the car. Not really sure the meaning of it, quite possibly, but he is running the Pride livery here tonight, possibly giving support to somebody. Maybe their name is Sam, who knows. We'll get the opportunity to talk to him, I'm sure, as he is on for a podium finish here tonight, possibly even a win. But I suspect Vela letting Konitska go there, part of his fuel strategy. Yeah, he's probably saving a bit of fuel in this toe, help him get a shorter pit stop in the next stop, and quite possibly may take the lead off the back of that plan as well.
Sheepy and Gerard into the pit lane. I just heard him on the radio. I don't think Matty was too happy. Sheepy might have held him up a little on that pit entry. But the first of our guys to flinch and get into the pits. We'll keep an eye on the front runners here to see when they go, but generally, I mean, the goal in these cars is run them as lean as you can, as light as you can, for as long as you can.
That's right, so that way then you're taking the least amount of fuel possible in your next stop, but also getting the fresher tyres on the car as well, so you're running it as light as possible towards the end of the race, if you do take tyres, that is. See the Sam name chip on the side of that car through that camera. That was a good one for it. As Gallo is now all in his lonesome. I think Gallo goes as long as possible now. He's going to try and stay out of that battle pack and possibly get an overcut done on those who've tried to go undercut city on him, and just counteract that here by getting some clear track ahead of him, as Vela has brought it into the pit lane now. So we'll see if the undercut's going to work for him over Konitska and where he ends up coming out in terms of the traffic, Cowie, because that could have a big part to play on whether Vela takes the lead here through this pit stop period.
Early move, Konitska going an extra lap on Vela, so this will be telling. Again, you know, one of the things we saw with the old F3 car was the reluctance to take tyres. I don't think that's on the menu quite now, so that does bring the undercut into play. Flesh of rubber, you can push a little bit harder, so we'll have to see. And we do know that Phil Vela, well, he is one of those guys that's able to get on it straight away. It looks like he's come in behind with a little bit of a toe here, maybe from a couple of drivers, which may play a part as well.
It also may play a part is if he gets up on the back of Daniel Byrne and Byrne actually defends against him here, but Anderson currently sits in between them in that little sandwich, so we'll see how this plays out for Vilvella. But I think he's come out in a positive spot here, Cowie. He's well ahead of Barton, so he's not under pressure from him. He's got a bit of clear track to let his tyres get up to temp. If he's taken tyres or not, I don't think he would have. So I think the fuel strategy game is now at play for Phil Vella, and whether Marcus Knitska comes in this lap or comes in next, that'll be the determination on who's going to lead this race towards the checkered flag. And I mean, if there's a safety car, Cowie, well, who knows what could happen?
Oh, we love safety cars. They throw things right up, shuffle the field. We always love to see that. Just having a look at some of the pit times. And 5 seconds, 4, 5 seconds, 7 seconds for Scott Pocock. Darren Fahey, is that maybe a indication of tyres? I'm not sure. So mostly 4.5 to 5.5 second stops, or 7 to 8 second stops. So is that extra 2 or 3 seconds? Is that the tyres? Or is it maybe just taking a little bit too much fuel than you need?
I think that's tyres, quite possibly, Cowie. You can get tyres done at around about 8 seconds. So Barton took a 4-second stop, where Vella took a 7-second stop on his pit stop there. Dixon did a 5.3 second stop. So I think Vella's actually gone for the plan of taking tyres here in this one.
Interesting. Anytime you got to put less fuel in that can cover the tyres, it creates that nice sort of situation of do you or don't you? And again, if you've got confidence on cold tyres early on, then that is an option. We knew before with the old F3 car, it was never an option. Even, and the only time you'd think about it would be an 80-minute race, and you'd hope you had a safety car to be able to get the tyres into some sort of window. But at the moment, Phil Vella, P7 on the road, provisional leader. Knitska has gone a couple of laps longer, so maybe that was an early call by Vella.
Yeah, possibly going for an undercut here, and I think Knitska doing a similar strategy to what David Gallo may be employing, of just going as long as possible to try and counteract it. Get as short a stop as possible, as Gallo's now all over the back of Ratcliffe here for what is provisional P3 on the road. But we'll have to see how these guys line up when they do come out of pits. These guys do need to stop, but Gallo's had a massive gain as Knitska's come in the lane. Gallo's got the move done down the inside of Ratcliffe, but we may see them come into pits this time by. They are coming in. So we suspect Verney will also follow them into the lane, as well as Daniel Byrne and Jack Anderson. Verney's in. Byrne is in. Anderson is in. And here comes Phil Vella. And it looks like he may... I don't know if he's actually going to take the lead or not, Cowie. This is going to be really, really tight as he comes around the final couple of corners. Knitska's now in his pit bay. He's dropped after 5.2 seconds, so he's actually gained 2 seconds over Phil Vella in this stop, and he's already back out on track and gained a good amount of time over the fast ensuing DFR driver of Phil Vella, who now sits around about 3 odd seconds back on Knitska, so that's hurt him coming in early.
Well, I think, again, those tyres, maybe the tyre change, it just takes a lap or two to get him up the temp. I did notice he was sort of a couple of seconds down on Knitska's lap that time around, or the lap before, I should say. So I don't know if there was a mistake or just, a little bit of cold tyre syndrome where you just want to give it a lap or two better. Don't push it too hard before you get back on the edge of limit. Ty Delaney can't believe he missed another Shadow Series start. Oh, Ty, come on, the F1s are on, buddy. That's when we're racing. Anytime there's big double and triple headers in the F1, that's when we've got lots of shadow round action going on as well.
Well, the big loser out of all this, Cowie, is Shane Ratcliffe, who's now dropped back to P5 in behind both David Gallo and Scotty Barton. He's also got an ensuing Jay Dixon in behind him. Scott Pocock's a little bit further back. What we could use right now is a safety car, just to bunch everyone back up, put a bit of pressure on them, allow the guys who haven't pit yet to take their pit stop to get home. And, well, we'll see who's going to be able to rise to the top here, maybe get the chocolates in this one. At the moment, it's looking like it's either going to be Marcus Knitska or Phil Vella.
Yeah, a little bit of spice would be nice. A bit of steak spice on this race or something, you know.
Bit of lemon
Maybe
pepper in there, you know, just to spice it up a little bit.
I won't say cinnamon because that dries your mouth out, that stuff. So, but yeah, nah, a bit of turmeric. I don't know, something just to add a few little ingredients here.
Bit of smoked paprika, maybe a bit of cumin, you know. Just get all the spices involved. Make it a curry. If I'll steal something from my good old friend Scott Rankin, but you can see Ratcliffe and Dixon, their battles now ensuing here for P5. Ratcliffe's done well tonight, Cowie, just to hold on to this top position. I mean, he's struggled in the past with his self-inflicted mistakes, but he's done well to keep it clean tonight. And could be on for a top 10 finish here if he can hold this out.
Well, he's been running with the front runners up here, but, you know, he's not pushing himself too hard. Like, you know, Jay Dixon got a good run on in there, set it up, got it done, and, you know, I know Shane, and I know he can fight as hard as anyone out on track, but, you know, also realising, you know, maybe, you know, Jay's got a bit of pace on me, if I can let him through, I can sit in the toe, maybe drag me back up there. But at the moment, he's got a healthy lead on the Pro-Am class.
Well,
with Nathan Burney back in P10, so 4 spots there.
One thing I noticed in chat is Sam Katakazinos is just being the most stereotypical he can be at this point, Cowie. Mentioning Greek olive oil, then mentioning tzatziki as well. I mean, we're a kebab away from, or a hero away from just Sam living out the most stereotypical life he could in our chat tonight.
I wouldn't say we're too early away from a full kebab.
Well, kebab is technically Lebanese, that's why I said hero, but
well, that's right.
or souvlaki,
yeah, right,
I guess we could say as well, souvlaki. But you can see here though, Shane Ratcliffe is doing nice and consistent race so far. If he could pull this together this season, he could be on for a strong run for himself. But that's the struggle that he's had, which is staying consistent, trying to stay out of the self-inflicted wars or the wars with other drivers. But if you have these sorts of races, he could be on for quite a breakout season going into Season 3 of 2024. His next closest competitor is Nathan Verney in the Pro-Am class. He's back in P10 and 7.2 seconds off the back of him. Then it's Jack Anderson, who is 9.3 seconds off the back of Ratcliffe Keir, back in P11 and P3 in the class.
Well, he did that work early on there, Mr. Shane Ratcliffe. You know, he held off Gallo for a long period at the first section of that race, and that's what created that sort of gap between the front two. Konecka at the moment, he's settled in. Vela is taking time out of him, but not as much as you think. It's only been sort of a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there, and at the moment that gap was, what we say, it was about 3.5 seconds there when he came out of the pits. It's now down to 2.1, so he's still got about 10 minutes of this, or 9 minutes of this race to go. So we could have a belter of a finish here. As Marcus, he's putting his head down. I think he's taking a little bit more time out of Vela.
He has indeed. He's taking just a little bit of time out of him. Saying in the chat, saying my birthday dinner was at a Greek restaurant tonight. Too easy for the Greek references. Sounds like you've been visiting Oakley. For any fellow Victorians, Sam, it sounds like he's been visiting Oakley at the moment. What would be the Greek township of Queensland, Cowie, around about Brisbane, do you reckon?
I'm not sure. Like, look, in and around the city, it was at Highfields,
I'm about to say, don't say Fortitude Valley, because that does not seem like it's Greek.
No. But there was, there was quite a few of those restaurants. I used to find the Italian and Greek restaurants as together on the same street in Brisbane. So, yep. But then again, you know, my great friend of mine he was the one that loved to find the weird restaurants. If there was a restaurant that was, you know, something kangaroo or goat or, you know, anything that was not normally on the menu, that's where he would gravitate towards. So a lot of good eateries in and around Brisbane. This is a museum, man. I normally end up in the pubs eating Palmers.
Oh, it sounds like a bit of me, Cowie. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, no, I'd say from my fellow Victorians, they would know from southeast suburbs that Oakley is pretty much clearly known as the place to go and get Greek food if you're in and around southeast suburbs. There are some good places as well. Some good places out towards Clayton and stuff like that, but Oakley is pretty much the area you go to. I'm sure there's one in every major city. There's a suburb just outside the city, half an hour, 40 minutes you go to, and that's the go-to spot. But at the moment, away from food, we look at the racing action we have on hand tonight for a delicious finish to this race. 7 minutes to go. Konitska leads the way by 2 seconds back to Phil Vella. It is then a further 8.5 seconds back to Scotty Barton for P3. Then David Gallo and Jay Dixon make up the top 5 at the moment.
Daniel Byrne, P7, he's closed that gap in. A pretty good drive from him, starting from the pit lane. But yeah, it is Konitska. The gap is 1.7 now. He's encountering a little bit of traffic at a bad spot. That's probably cost him another. It's cost him another couple of tenths, and Vella getting a great run through there. So that was a bit unfortunate, but nothing Marcus could do about it. You know, the driver in front's entitled to hold his line. And Sam's saying Oakley first, correct?
Yeah, there you go. I was right. It is. Yep, told you. As Matty Gerard's had a moment in the background as well.
All I remember in Melbourne is Lifeguard Street and all the Italian restaurants down there.
Yeah.
And oh no, a moment from Matty Gerard.
Yep.
He's looped it around.
Yeah, you were thinking of Lygon Street in Carlton.
Lygon Street, Lygon, that's it.
Yeah. Anyone who's watched Underbelly will know all about Lygon Street.
Well, I remember I haven't been down to Melbourne for about 10 or 15 years, and when I went down there, I thought it was refreshing to see all the restaurant owners, you know, and workers, you know, yelling at you, trying to get you to come into their restaurant. So, you know, they're all competing against each other, and I must admit, I think we bought a platter for 2 that could have fed about 12.
That's what happens when you come down to the eating capital of Australia in Melbourne. As Konitska leads now 1.4 seconds. He lost a big chunk of time thanks to the traffic of John Cashin through the final couple of corners. As now comes down
This
towards...
will be the lap that'll show it. You know, it has Vella got... I don't know if he's quite close enough to get the toe just yet. It was 1.4 the last time they went around. It's sitting at about that same gap again.
I believe the toe is around about 1 second around here, Cowie, for this circuit. So we've got about 4.5 minutes left. 4.5 minutes for Marcus Konitska to survive against Phil Vella here at the front of the field. David Gallo, Scotty Barton, they're still putting on a show a little bit further back between Valve Esports and Carlins Motorsports at the moment. And then if we
This battle's been going on all race. You've seen 2 red cars trying to work out which one's which.
Both
races, they've been battling hard.
Both races, they've been having an absolute barn burner. Pocock and Fahey, they're also having a strong battle in behind Daniel Byrne at the moment. And right now, we have got no amateurs in the top 10, Cowie, for quite a while. I mean, the last couple of races, we've at least had one finish inside the top 10. This week, it's just pros and pro-ams at the moment.
What happens when, you know, there's no safety car in a race to bunch it back together? I mean, you know, it tends to be, you know, pure pace will, you know, shine over, you know, a 20-odd lap race. We are on lap 20, about to start lap 21. Maybe 2 more laps of this race remaining. But, you know, when it's a long track like this, you know, near a 2-minute lap, you know, things can space out. You're only going to make one little mistake and that might cost you 4 or 5 seconds. And then suddenly, you know, if you're on your own out there, you've got no tow, no draft, and, you know, it's hard to get anywhere. Whereas Marcus Konitska, that gap's come down to a second. He's that close enough. Vella doing everything he can to try and get in this tow. Looks like he's finally getting it. Is this going to be a final lap barnstormer for us here, Hamish?
Well, mate, it looks like we're going to have 2 laps to go when they cross the line. He's done well to gain about half a second on Konitska over this last lap, has Phil Vella. If he can gain another half a second, it's going to be an absolute barn burner to the end for the win of this race. Cross the line they come. 2 laps to go here at Silverstone as Konitska leads to Phil Vella at the moment. Barton and Gallo are still battling in behind, as well as Byrne, Pocock and Fahey. Everyone's in their own little tightly contested contests at the moment, Cowie, but we're focused on this front battle because this is the battle for the win. And at the moment, Phil Vella would be winning the round right now, Cowie, as he did finish P2 at the last race and looks to either finish P2 or P1 here for race number 2.
was that all-important P10 in race number 1, getting himself to the front of the grid. He's only got about a lap and a half left to go to hang on to that, but so far it has been a flawless drive. Good strategy. He stayed out there. Phil Vella is now with inside a second, so we're going to see if that tow is going to come into play, but with a little bit over 1 lap to go, yeah, not over, but Marcus with one hand on the Silverstone trophy.
Yeah, he's done well here tonight. He got it to P10 in the last race. Started on pole here in race number 2 as they come through Maggots and Beckett's now, looking off the back of Marcus Kanitzka's car. We want to look off the back of this here because we want to see how much Phil Vella can gain on him up towards the line to start the final lap. Gap is around about 7/10 of a second. He's got that toe in hand. He's trying to drag himself up the field as they come up towards Cops at the top of the hill. Round in towards the final sector now as they come into the final couple of corners. Kanitzka's going to lead Vella onto the final lap. He's only gained around about 2/10 over that lap carry. I don't know if he's close enough to get this done. He may just concede for P2. The white flag lap is now live as Barney has gotten us going here for the final running of Silverstone for tonight.
Oh, Phil Vella, he loves this stuff. Last lap demon. We used to always set a fastest lap on the last lap of the race. He's now got that down to 0.3. So this is where he's setting up the charge. Can Marcus Kanitzka hold him off? Vella getting a good run out here onto the first of the straights. Already Marcus trying to break that toe. But I don't think Vella's going to make a move just yet, but he's close enough now that the hanger straight, it's going to be a real threat to Marcus.
I think if he can maximise the run out of Maggots and Beckett's, Kanitzka's going to have major pressure on him. On board now with Vella as we come round the old start-finish straight. There's about 2/10 of a second in between them for the win of this race. Kanitzka's going to lead them through the fast right-hander down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Vella full throttle, full pace, full pressure on the back of Kanitzka right now. Slots in behind him through Maggots and Beckett's. This is what's going to matter. It's going to be about the run out of the corner. It's going to be about how fast he can get on this throttle. Kanitzka's had a phenomenal run through there though, and he's managed to hold that gap right now. Cowie, 0.4 of a second. I don't know if Vella is close enough to get a move done in towards the final couple of corners.
Here it is here, but Marcus is going to hold the high line. Vella prepared to use all the track and then some, trying to carry as much speed as he can through, but I think Marcus has done enough here. 2 turns to go. No mistakes, just get the car rotated. One more attempt, one more corner, and it is Marcus Kanitzka that will come home to win our feature race here tonight at Silverstone. A great battle there with Phil Vella at the end, exactly what we want to see. Gallows looks like he's got a little bit of a gap on Barton, so that battle that's been going on for almost 2 races, David Gallo comes out on top with the P3 finish, and we're looking at Shane Radcliffe with a little spin there at the end. I would say that's cost him another spot or 2, but it will retain the Pro-Am victory here.
Yeah, he was incredibly lucky. Anderson was fast approaching. We spoke him up all race. Ratcliffe didn't have an incident up until that point, and then a minor spin at the end nearly cost him.
Oh, he's done well to hang on to it, but yeah, that would have been a little bit of a heart in throat moment there. And Kevin Wakefield will bring it home as our lead amateur in P12, I think. So Kevin having a much better race number 2, hanging on to the car and bringing it home for the end victory.
Sheafy had a bit of a spin there in the final corner, gave up some important positions at the end there. He gave a spot to Gowans, gave a spot to his teammate in Ferguson, as well as McCulloch and his former teammate in Matty Gerard as well. But at the end of it,
Sheafy, he was right at the front, battle at the start of this, has had a couple of moments. Looks like he had a moment early on and then recovered, and then he's had another moment to hand it all back again. So that's a bit unfortunate for Sheafy, but we know what he's like. He'll be back to race again, and he loves his racing, and you know, I suppose, you know, what's that? You got to be like a goldfish, you know, forget about the last race and just focus on the next one.
Provisional results up now for your feature race, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight. Marcus Konitska comes home P1 for Pace Syndicate ahead of DFR's Phil Vella and Carlin's Motorsports' David Gallo making up the overall podium here tonight. Scotty Barton, Jay Dixon make up the top 5 ahead of Daniel Byrne, Darren Fahey and Scott Pocock in the top 8. It's then all 3 of our Pro-Am podium finishers in Shane Ratcliffe, Jack Anderson and Nathan Verney in behind, with our amateur winner in Kevin Wakefield for P12. Doug Gowans, Jordan Ferguson, Gordon McCulloch make up the top 15, with Gerard Sheaf, Rosanita and Singovic making up the top 19 cars on track here tonight. We then move back to Russell Gander, Greg Johnston, John Cashin, Phil Buckland, Jason Depp, Stephanie Piccoli making up the rest of the running order. Dylan DeBono, Josh King and Callan Hodgkinson never got going here in race number 2.
Another great night of racing, our Shadow F1 round. Great to see so many cars come out to contest it as well. So, you know, this is in between our regular season. So, you know, these guys are entitled to a week off, but yet they come and race with us when the F1s are out and about and a big triple header. So, you know, these guys will barely feel like they've had a break at all.
Well, we'll see how they feel after next week's break, mate. I'm sure they will all be rearing and ready to go back into action for Season 3. If you guys haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, so you are notified anytime we go racing here on SLW TV. A big season to come for Season 3, ladies and gentlemen, of course, as we have 6 series running for you across 5 nights here on SLW TV next season, including our Tuesday night Warren and Brown Tools V8 Supercars series with Split 1 and Split 2 all in the same race. We then have our Wednesday night Formula 3 Nationals, our Thursday night Shannon's Insurance GR86 Nationals, our Friday evening Legends World Challenge, which is a free series for SRW TV. All you need to be is a registered driver. You can register at www.simracingworld.com.au. That is www.simracingworld.com.au to register as a driver. You can also pay your subs there if you want to be involved in any of our paid series. You then just need to join the Discord and register as a driver. On Friday nights, we also have the Warren & Brown Tools IMSA GTD series, I should say, sorry. And then rounding out our racing week, our Sunday night Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship. It's all for one, all for none. No more pros, pro-ams and amateurs in the supercars. It's just run and gun blazing up towards the checkered flag of that championship. You can see my co-commentator Andrew Cowan compete in that series if you wish. But so much action to come this season, Cowie. It's going to be absolutely massive. We have got Kevin Wakefield in the green room. We'll chat to him first once I get some B-roll up of the cars going. And then we'll be ready to rock and roll here for the interview section of this event here tonight.
Right. Let's drag the Kev Star in. You got it all sorted. There he is. Kevin, congratulations on your AM victory tonight. Was that P10 on road or P12 on road?
P12. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so pretty good race, buddy. How was it out there?
No, it was actually a fun race. A few battles with Gordon and a few, Callum and a few other guys there. So kept it nice and smooth, and I really love this track. So it's a nice flowing track. So it's good.
Well, Kevin, how did it feel to get the win over Dean tonight and some of the other strong competitors, including Gordon and Callum? It was a hotly contested one out there, but everyone started to spread out a little bit. But you come home with the chocolates in P1. How does it feel to get that done here at Silverstone?
It was a good one to get over Dean, but obviously staying out of trouble. He had a couple of spins and a couple of little issues, so I was able just to keep my nose clean and just push my way through, constant, keep my lap speed constant. Thought I mucked up with my strategy a little bit at the end, but I was able to chase Gordon down and get past him with like 5 minutes to go.
So did you stay out a little bit long there, Kevin? Was that what you think, or you went a bit early?
I stayed out long. I stayed out until probably around the about 28 minute mark, nearly 30 minute mark.
You think maybe a bit of running on your own there without a tow that maybe cost you, but I suppose in the end it didn't cost you because you got it done. But you said you were sort of running out of time before you got it done there at the end.
Yeah, I had a couple of, obviously, I was able to extend my first stint because I was actually running pretty close behind the likes of Phil or Jay Dixon and that. So I was able to get the draft off them and just keep pushing, which helped my lap times as well. And then I had the confidence in when I come out the new set of tyres, I could push that a little bit harder and was able to, I think I come out like 3 seconds behind him, and was able to run him down.
Well, Kev, does this help fill you with confidence going in towards next season? Of course, we start out at the Hungaroring, quite a difficult track, but has very similar characteristics to this one. How does that help now, feeling comfortable in this car and maybe a little bit more confident to battle it out in these cars next season?
It does. It builds my confidence. Every time I hop in this car, I'm getting more and more confident, and I'm slowly seeing the speed come with it. So I'm actually looking forward to next season and pushing and trying fighting a bit further up the table.
Well, mate, we love to hear that. We love to see you do well. You've been a constant member of the field, and hopefully we can continue to see this rise up the rankings for you. Let us know who helps get you out on track. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and Cowie, congratulations on your class win here tonight.
Thanks, guys. I'd like to just obviously thank the SRW guys, all you guys who do the broadcast and race control. My wife who supports me with this, with looking after the kids while I race. Just the family that gets behind me. So thanks, guys, for everything.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for round 1 in a couple of weeks' time. Enjoy the week break. Hopefully we can continue to see things going in the more positive direction for yourself out here in the Formula 3 Nationals.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, we will drag in Mr. Ratcliffe Cowie as my dog's right in front of my legs. He thinks he sees something out the window, but I think it might just be his own reflection. Mr. Ratcliffe, though, someone who has not seen their own reflection tonight, had quite a positive running apart from one little minor spin at the end there, mate. What a run from you to get inside not only the 10, but also P1 on the road for the for the Pro-Ams.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It was a good night. Just tried to stay out of trouble. Hasn't always been a strong point of mine, so thought we'd try it for something different.
Gonna say that doesn't sound like you, Shane, but you were racing at the front there with a early on start. And Marcus got away from you, and then you had the boys behind you. How was the pressure with those boys? Because you seemed to handle it pretty well and found some good pace. Holding them back there for a long chunk of time.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I obviously couldn't keep up with Marcus, and I think the guys behind might have been fighting between themselves because for a while there I was in no man's land at a few seconds in front and a few seconds behind. So, just tried to concentrate on not spinning. Just hope that if I could stick it out without doing it, I'd be all right. But, unfortunately just got turned at the end there. But I thought I got a good run coming into that chicane. I thought, do I have a look up the inside of Burn or not? And just sort of stayed there, and I think Darren thought I was letting everybody go, being a Pro-Am, and they were all pros, so a bit of bad luck there.
I was going to say it didn't affect your finishing position. It's good to have you back racing. Are you going to try and join us for the next season, or is this a bit of a once-off?
Nah, hopefully join in. I